Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to the Future of Asia by GoodLifeX. A few housekeeping announcements before we commence proceedings. Kindly keep your phones on silent. Please ensure you're wearing a mask throughout the evening, with the only exception of when you are savoring the specially curated cuisine for the evening, and also when you're being photographed. Make sure you've signed the health and safety form. Also, you would have received a sticker with your name tag on it. Hold on to that and stick it onto your refreshment pack to maintain health and safety guidelines. So, this evening we have a lineup of phenomenal companies ready to share their stories with you. Starting off today's program, we have our founder and CEO of GoodLifeX, Randula De Silva, ready to share with you the good life and the journey we've taken so far. Next up, y'all will be given a small peek into the everyday operations of the SMEs in a very small intro video, followed by the golden hour, where you'll get up close and personal with the SMEs. Afterwards, you will get a glimpse of the experts who are part of the program as they share what it takes to cut it in the global market. So, without further ado, it is my privilege to introduce the rock star and the energy force behind GoodLifeX, Randula De Silva.
Thank you, Shanali. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure to have all of you join here with us this evening at this milestone event of GoodLifeX. Now, if I was talking to you early 2019, I would be beginning my speech saying, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, the world is changing. But come March 2021, I think I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, the world has changed. This is no accident. The global pandemic has shed light to how much of destruction we are causing with the way that we live and the way that we work. What we have done to our natural habitat and what you and I are living through right now is a series of symptoms that are caused by a very strong, deep-rooted problem that will not go away with the discovery of the vaccine. And we all know it. Our age-old assumption, coming from the industrial era, thinking that continuous consumption is going to bring us prosperity, has led us and our planet to a state where we have caused the wellness, not just of ourselves, but also of our planet. And today, in this new economy that we are all shoved into, thanks to the pandemic, we are forced to not just sustain, but to regenerate. From linear to extractive, from linear and extractive to circular and regenerative. This is the transformation that GoodLifeX is set to do with business. Now, I must say that there's very many others who are set on this journey, who's embracing sustainability, who's embracing this amazing transformation. They're all our partners, most of them in this room. We wish them well. We are very collaborative in our ways of work. The reason why we chose the path of business is because this is what we know how to do best. We've been working with SMEs, with startups, with public and private sector companies for over decades now. And we have noticed in the leadership, especially in this country, there is a very linear way of looking at growth, and they're all very excellent, but are working in their silos. And also, we saw 3 disconnected dots. What Sri Lanka has, the traditional sectors, the amazing, bountiful abundance of natural resources that we have, but have not been tapped into in their fullest potential. And on the other hand, what Sri Lanka is excited about, the tech entrepreneurs, the emerging innovation sector that we're also very proud about, amazing talent there. And on the other hand, what the world demands. The conscious consumers of the world are asking different questions from us. They want traceability, they're asking about transparency, they're asking a whole bunch of questions that they never bothered to ask a decade ago. Now, we at GLX saw this as an opportunity to connect these three dots to create a new reality and help us as Sri Lanka thrive together and plug ourselves into the future of Asia where we thrive as a region. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we are set to do. We are here to hit the refresh button into the traditional sectors, merge them together with the young, innovative tech entrepreneurs and the innovators, and really give the best of Sri Lanka, give the best of the region into the world, into the hands of the conscious consumers. Now, we didn't begin this journey because of COVID. We didn't begin this journey in 2021. We started off in 2018 as an idea, and we called ourselves Angry Asians because we were really angry. We were angry because of the way we were looked at as Asians, but also we were angry at ourselves. We had so much in hand, but we were really not making the best use of it. We wanted to change this, and that's what made us set off to do our first accelerator. That's how most of you know us as the Good Life Accelerator. And we started off our pilot program in 2019 with 6 startups who came under our wing. We worked with them for 3 months in a rapid immersive growth program, and also they got 1 million seed funding each to grow and scale up their startups. Now, these are a few of the brands, the 6 first brands that works with us. Sozo, you're going to enjoy later this evening. Honest Greens, I know, fed many of you during the pandemic. Bellissima, Ananta Sustainable, Kimula Kitu, Lasanas, all of these are up-and-coming, young and thriving, innovative brands among us. And we are very proud to have had them as our pilot cohort. These are the familiar faces you need to look out for in the audience today. Talk to them, ask them how it's going, and get in touch about their journey so far. 2020 pandemic happened. That didn't stop us. We grew our accelerator into taking in 10 entrepreneurs and diversified beyond food and agriculture into food, agri, wellness, travel, and design. And they went through a similar program, and these are the startups that went through our program last year amidst the pandemic. Shout out to Olai Yatusha, all the way from Jaffna, who just won the Emerging Woman Tech Entrepreneur Award of the Northern Province. We're all very proud of her. And this is that cohort of amazing founders who are all set to change gears and make that change happen. Few of them are here with us today. Feel free to walk up and talk to them. Just because we did our cyclical program didn't stop us. There was a lot of things happening around us because of the pandemic, especially in the sustainable travel sector, especially in the travel sector at large. We wanted to do something about this. So we set off to, amidst the pandemic, really create an innovative way of interacting with these companies, and we ended up helping 25 sustainable tourism sector companies and spent around 17 million of grants that was given to us by the German Federal Ministry of Cooperation, BMZ, to disseminate into the travel sector specifically. These are the few of the online knowledge sharing programs that we did, but specifically we did something very new and interesting, which was called the Crisis Resilience Challenge. And this was for tourism companies to kind of look beyond the problem. Look at a short-term pivot that helped them keep their businesses afloat and help to keep their employees fed. And one interesting story is the first prize winner, JCAB Resorts, that was in Trincomalee. They set out to divert into a very short-term pivot and created a landscape business with our support in that short 3 months. So hats off to them, and very proud that they embraced and said yes to the problem and saw opportunity in it. And then, of course, a much more hands-on approach where we worked with the Enterprise Evolver program that is a combination of seed grants and business coaching. And also, we executed grants for tourism resilience with our partners, Sri Lanka Tourism Alliance, where we supported 10 larger-scale tourism companies who were also hard hit, but keeping in mind that all of these companies were sustainable in their ways or were ready to embrace sustainability. So one story from the tourism grants for tourism resilience is Captain Fernando from Nigambo. Shout out to Romesh if you're watching. He's a guy who has experiential tours in the mangroves of the Nigambo Lagoon, and he went into, with our support, he went into taking kayaking as an experiential outcome in the mangroves. So that's one example of one of the people who got funded. We didn't stop there. GLX Garage also happened in 2020, and that happened in September. It was definitely a year full for us, and that was because our focus in supporting businesses was really at the dire need in 2020. So we were fully active to make sure that we were doing what we are set out to do. Garage is what you're all here to witness today. This is our latest baby, our latest experiment. We took on 5 mature companies. Now, these companies were ready to, yeah, that's how we scale the good. Now, these 5 companies are going to be on this stage in a moment, talking to all of you about their journey. So I'm not going to go into details because they are really good storytellers. But what I'm going to tell you is that this was not an easy task. These were SMEs and not startups. They were already in the international markets or ready to go there. They had the scale. But there was a lot of work to be done in terms of their strategies, in redefining how they approached the market, how they spoke to their customers, and all of that. And we were new to it too. And I also must mention that all of these, there's 4 agriculture companies here, and all of their ingredients are infused into the food that you will enjoy tonight. And I'm very proud to be wearing Lonali in front of you. And these are the faces who will speak to you in a moment. This is a meaty slide, and this will explain to you what we did with these companies from mid-September to end February. They went into a detailed diagnostic. We really looked at the businesses as individuals, so this was not a group setting. It was a bespoke one-on-one business development solution that we were giving them, and also we had very bespoke one-on-one expert engagement going into each of these companies, depending on what they really required, be it digital strategies, be it access to markets, be it business refinement, overall operations. And at the end, some of them have accelerated improvement in their businesses, refined strategies, roadmaps for 2 years ahead, and some even with commercial, tangible outcomes in that 5 short months. We didn't do this alone. These are the rock star experts who joined us and said yes to this challenge. Now, there's a few locals, a few international experts here who joined hands with us to make this work, and we are very happy that they say yes, because this was, like I said, was challenging. Bert-Jan Ottens, the second person you see there, called this a pressure cooker approach. And I think that's the best way to define our program, because it was tough, it was intensive, there was no shying away. You were just driven to achieve change. Change that you agreed to make for your own company for the betterment of your own growth. And I'm very thankful for all of these experts who said yes to this challenge and worked with us hand in hand. It was a learning for all of us to make this work happen. And shout out to Neo Leonege, especially the program director, our brother from Hong Kong, who is a giant in building startup accelerators. And this was a new experience to him too, but it was quite fun putting this program together with him. So this is a bit of what we do, ladies and gentlemen. And what sets us apart really is the fact that we're rooted. We are rooted to the local ground. We are rooted to South Asia and its authenticity. But we have a global outlook, a global mindset. We are collaborative in our ways. We work very closely and openly with our experts, with our partners, with our entrepreneurs, and we are all about growing the pie versus splitting the pie. And we are biased to action. We get shit done. That's why I'm talking to you here today, 2.5 years after doing all of this. And we succeed by trial and error. We are not afraid to fail. We innovate, we keep reiterating, we become better every time after. And we are learning in the doing, and we are very proudly doing so. This is the golden circle. It's too tiny, but it's very raw. I wanted it here because it's very close to my heart. Why we are doing all of this? We really believe that we can inject consciousness into business. And how we are doing it is by meeting entrepreneurs wherever they may be in their journey of growth. We can meet them wherever they are and show them where they ought to be with all of that they have in hand. And what we do is what I just spoke to you about. Now, as I mentioned, in the past, we began as a development project. We were incubated and initiated within GIZ SME Development Program with the support of BMZ, the German Federal Ministry. And from then to now, I'm very proud to say that I'm standing here today representing GLX Private Limited, where we have become our own entity, and first of its kind. Thank you. Thank you. We're the first of its kind to have made it to be our own self-sustained entity, and this journey of transition wouldn't have been possible unless, of course, for all the partners who supported us. From the start to date, there's been hundreds of my team members who made all of that from GIZ to now, Shali, Sanch, Rebecca, Ranmali, Shinali, Ashera and Shinal, all amazing rock stars. Team Hatch, who saw very many grey days in me and still kept me going. The board of Hatch, the board of directors of GLX, who were amazing partners in advisory, the country director of GIZ, our partners in Berlin, ESCP, Peter Borchers, the father of German accelerators, who helped us design our accelerator program, Tony Capes from Commandante. All of these are amazing partners who held our hands and saw us grow. And I must mention Good Market, Achala and Amanda, who also helped me so much. And I'm so glad that we step out to the future, joining hands with all of these people who've been with us in the past. We're stepping out as growth alchemists for good. And I'm so glad to have new people joining us. We have Aj, Anush, Neo, all of these amazing people who create so much of change out there, stepping into the future, joining hands to work with us. So what do I mean by growth alchemists for good? Tangibly, we are going to continue doing our cyclical programs together with startups, together with SMEs, together with partners who are willing to work with us. So we are now open and ready to do business with the world. We are not restricted to one partner. We are open to work with everybody who is set on this journey. And also, we are ready to give customized solutions to public sector as well as private sector, as well as partners who want to embrace this journey of change. What I'm most excited about is the conscious experiments and the investments that we are ready to take on. We are ready to plug our creativity, our drive, and our knowledge in to bring in investors, experimenters, innovators, and entrepreneurs together to create new cutting-edge solutions which will really help us grow and be a stunning reality in the future of Asia. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is how we connect the dots, how we connect what Sri Lanka has, what Sri Lanka is excited about, and what the world needs. This is how we do it. I warmly welcome all of you to come grow with us. Thank you very much.
Sri Lanka is best known for its sunny beaches, tropical weather and unbeatable tea. But what you may not know is that Sri Lanka has been making waves when it comes to food and agriculture, fashion and even sustainable tourism. Take for instance the jackfruit. The rest of the world seems to have discovered this now popular meat alternative no more than a couple of years ago. It has been a Sri Lankan staple for over a century. The fashion industry produces 150 billion garments annually, much of which ends up as waste and is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions. But upcycling waste garments into usable material is something Sri Lankans have been doing for a while. Sri Lanka has a range of such sustainable solutions, and GLX aims to help Sri Lankan conscious entrepreneurs bridge the gap between themselves and the global conscious consumers. Launched in 2020, the Garage Program shortlisted 5 innovative companies and helped them improve their operations and expand into the global market, taking the essence of Sri Lankan sustainability to the world stage. The 5 companies were linked with experts who mentored them with customized business plans and advised them in a range of fields so that they may develop their operations effectively. Each of these unique companies is now equipped with everything they need to take the world by storm. Curious to see what they're all about? Let's dive in. Surendipol is an exporter of high-quality coconut-based products. But what's interesting about how they operate is that every single part of a coconut is processed and utilized.
We work with 1,162 farmers spanning 20,000 acres.
Surendipol revolutionized the coconut selection process by eliminating the 2 small coconuts for the price of 1 requirement.
We also are largely responsible for eliminating something called the Orakomis system in Sri Lanka that was widely practiced by the collectors and the intermediaries.
We take care of our entire supply chain, starting from the estate. We look after our growers, we look after their employers, we look after our employers, we look after our supply chain, and we take care of our customers. And what we are doing is sustainable because none of the products or byproducts of this entire process is wasted.
The attraction, I believe, is not products, right? The attraction, I believe, is the heart and soul of the company. Anything else, all tangibles and the intangibles can be duplicated and replicated, but what cannot be replicated is our heart and our soul.
Ceylon Exports and Trading is a much younger player in the coconut industry, having been established in 2018 by Dulara. The company's brand, Cocoa House, which was only introduced in 2020, is generating buzz already.
We aspire to be a fair company and transparent, where a certain percentage gets shared both with the processing community as well as the farming community. Well, actually in 2018, I came across a factory that was closing down right in the Coconut Triangle. I was 25 at the time, 0 business experience, have never done manufacturing before, nor exported, but I had an ambition to connect Sri Lanka with the rest of the world. But in now a little over 28 months, 30 months, we've managed to grow it to over 20 countries in terms of exports.
Cocoa House has already established its presence in foreign markets, particularly Ukraine, Cyprus and the United States.
The reason Cocoa House is gaining popularity now in the rest of the world is the fact that we're the first fully owned tree-to-table global coconut brand. However, Cocoa House is tree-to-table from the Coconut Triangle, so the provenance for us is a critical aspect.
Fashion is all about setting trends, and when it comes to unique fashion, House of Lonali is the standard. The twist? Everything is made of waste material from other factories.
We don't start with inspiration because we have to always stick to what we get. So we start with our raw material, which is actually the beautiful or the inspiration we have.
House of Lonali follows the Ellen MacArthur circular economy model. They create clothing that doesn't just benefit the user, which is what the industry traditionally does.
So those days people design for usage, but we design not just for usage. We all look into the resources, we look into manufacturing, we look into the person who's going to use it, and finally where it's going to dispose. We don't compromise on fashionability, neither the sustainability. So that's, I think, something that is unique.
House of Lonali gives their customers the option of becoming conscious consumers while not compromising on style.
So our ethos, our values, our makers are our family. So we give them a flexible working time and provide them machinery and the knowledge and work like a family is our main thing to upgrade their livelihood. At the same time, we would work with the local craftsmen and source everything locally so that we go through a transparent, shorter and low carbon footprint supply chain.
Target Agriculture is an exporter of premium fruit products. Target has come a long way since its inception in 1990 by Dr. Gerbracht and will soon be launching a chain of all new spice products under Target Spices.
We develop into the other sectors also, like coconut industry. We have something like more than 1,000 hectareage of land, certified organic farmers.
Target saw a good opportunity for Sri Lankan spices in the international organic spices arena.
Because we are talking something like more than $300 million business. And country like Sri Lanka, we are exporting very, less than even 0.2% of the world supply.
All of their products are organic and fair trade, which benefits both the environment and the farmers they work with.
Farmer communities will be empowered because of these projects. Our final goal is actually to develop our own brand as Target Spices, so especially in Europe market with our own name, with Sri Lankan identity.
Jackfruit was Sri Lanka's superfood before the term superfood was coined. Wagga Naturals is a company well known for its innovative takes on traditional Sri Lankan foods, particularly the humble jackfruit.
I identified there is a gap between the producers and also the processors and exporters. So I thought if we started something, we can do better, because we know all the problems and everything from the farmer side. Also, we have some idea from what customers need.
Wagga provides a variety of canned and bottled fruits and vegetables, but one product in particular stands out.
We are expert in jackfruit products. We do a lot of jackfruit products. We do the main product is young green jackfruit. So it is known as the vegan meat. A lot of farmers are like to work with us, so we can easily expand our raw material supply chain. Also, there are a lot of people like to join with us to work with our company. So we see good potential for us. Also, the product demand also coming from the other countries. So 100% of production is for the export market. So hope we can increase our production.
Sri Lanka has an endless supply of talent and resources, and these companies show us that combining them with innovation yields amazing results. Here's to empowering impact entrepreneurship. Here's to a better future through sustainability. Here's to a good life.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that you've had a glimpse into the daily operations of these business champions, it's time to bring them up on stage and dive deep into how they're building brand equity globally. Moderating the session titled The Golden Hour, we have Anushka Vijay Singha. Anushka really needs no introduction. He's a renowned economist and a director of Ceylon Bank PLC. He specializes in trade, competitiveness, and innovation. Anushka, it's great to have you this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the business champions driving a conscious revolution. First up, we have Dulara Dialvis, CEO of Ceylon Exports and Trading. Next, we have Lunali Rodrigo, founder and lead designer of House of Lunali. We have Gordon De Silva, CEO of Serendipol Private Limited, and Sonali Pantasekara, CFO of Serendipol Private Limited. Lahiru Saranga, Organic Assurance Manager of Target Agriculture, and Nishant Jayatilaka, Managing Director of Wagga Naturals. Anushka, over to you.
Thanks, Shanali. Just a couple of 100 meters from here lies a port that for a few hundred years, Sri Lanka exported millions of metric tons of commodities, nameless, brandless, storyless commodities to the world. Fast forward to today, we have businesses like this that are redefining what commodities from Sri Lanka are and making them actually not just value added, which has been happening for a while, but actually disrupting the value chain in many of the sectors they operate in. And I think the real story of today lies in the fact that they are in some segments that we have come to know. They're quite familiar. The broad product sector is quite familiar. But what they're doing within that sector, what they're doing to innovate around the product, around the story, around the sustainability of the supply chain is what is remarkable. And hopefully in the next 45 minutes, we'll take a peek under the hood of their businesses, build on some of the themes you heard on in the video, and really hear from them as to why they are so compelling. And I'm really looking forward to the session because it gives me a chance to ask a lot of questions I've been having when I heard about them and their story and what they've gone through GLX. And hopefully all of you will have some questions as well. And let's make this a really curious session. Let's be curious about all of the amazing things that they're doing. So I'm going to dive straight in. We've kind of arranged it in 4 segments. One of those segments is an opportunity to take your questions. But in the first, I thought I'd ask all of them to reflect not so much on their specific business, but get their view of the market that they're operating in and the broader ecosystem in a sense. So let's start with Nishanta. Nishanta, I'm going to pose to you the question, what is probably the most defining trend that you're seeing in the global market for natural products today?
Actually, Dhanushka, we see people are rethinking now about the food and everything. So we see there is a high trend. The demand is growing for the healthy food. A lot of people like to eat healthy food and also organic food. So we have identified this as a potential area for us to develop.
Good, and I think that's, as Randula said, part of those connecting the dots is looking at what the market is wanting and what Sri Lanka has. Lonali, I'm going to now ask you something from the more entrepreneur point of view. What is the one missing ingredient for Sri Lankan entrepreneurs looking to tap into this trend, looking to tap into the trend of a rising conscious consumer?
I think there's a lot of business ideas, creative ideas, but what is missing is a solution for a problem. So I think what we need, that ingredient is a purpose, especially in the industry that I'm in, fashion. You need to come up with a purpose. I think it applies to a lot of entrepreneurs as well. There's so many ideas, but are we giving a solution? And that makes a consumer conscious.
Right, and hopefully we'll dig into that idea of this purpose as well as the session goes along. Sonali of Serendipur, what is the one key trait of long-established businesses, Sri Lankan businesses, that make them primed for a new wave of growth anchored to these changes that we heard about? What is the key trait? Because often, particularly in this space, Hatch, we are always thinking of new businesses, new startups. But several of the businesses here are, time-tested, established, respected businesses. What is the key trait about those kind of businesses that make them primed for growth, even in this new, rapidly changing space?
I think it's twofold. If it's a long-established business, it's resilience, because you have navigated through the good, bad, and the ugly. And if you want to ride a new wave, then it is about embracing change. And that means open-mindedness. Open to new ideas, open to new way of doing things, open to new approach, questioning the status quo.
Okay, great. I'm going to move on to Lahiru. And your question is, what is a key ingredient that a business in agribusiness needs to focus on today, unlike in the past? A key ingredient today, unlike in the past.
I can answer you in 2 words, actually. The first one is sustainability, then the traceability. Because we have to be sustainable in our production, in our exports. Then also we should be transparent in our entire process. So these are the main aspects what I have seen.
Okay, good. I'm going to come back on that, particularly on the questions of traceability, hopefully. And to wrap up this quick round, Dulara. So what is the most, so I'm now asking you to look at it from the outside in, from a competitor point of view. So what is the most interesting aspect of the competitor landscape, so your competitors, that you're seeing today?
So in terms of the competitor landscape, I look at it in 3 lenses. The global manufacturer exporter space, the local manufacturer exporter space, and the last one, the brand space. So the last one is also very important to us as we build Sri Lanka's first tree-to-table global brand.
So touching on the first one, in terms of the global space, all three of the largest exporting nations are from a supply side on a secular decline. The plantations are getting old, there isn't enough replanting going on, but on the flip side, the demand side is nearly exploding, right? However, going a little bit deeper, the other players are more volume-centric, low value addition, as opposed to Sri Lanka is more on the premium end, which includes the milk, the VCOs, and the flour. Going on to the local space, really, if you really look at it in terms of the manufacturer, exporter, the vertically integrated players, there's only about 20, give or take 5. Yes, there are exporters only, but they're slowly dying away because it's an integrated space. There are manufacturer only, but you know, the much of the margin is really linking the plantation from the factory all the way. Now, getting to the last one, the brand space, which is the most interesting one. In the more established markets, if you take North America or Europe, there's a few very large players as well as a set of fragmented players. But then there are also these new emerging markets which are entirely untapped, and you can penetrate a brand in a much, not easy, but if you're tactile about it, there is potential. And the third, the final thing I want to say about that is, it's never easy building a brand from Sri Lanka. The consumer power is at the buyer space. So if you take the US, the GDP per capita is $80,000, while Sri Lanka is at 4,000. So they keep access to their buyers through letting multinationals, private labels take the value of authentic products. But this can be overcome, and that's something we're doing with our Cocoa House brand, which is the first street-to-table brand with transparency and fairness at its root.
Good, great. I think that gave us a quick glimpse into how your minds work and what your thinking is. I want to move on to asking you a few questions on specific aspects of your business that I found noteworthy when I read your story, when I interacted with some of you, and I picked out different ones for each of you, right? So I'm going to start with Volga Naturals. And one of the things that, and I'm picking up on the aspect of scale. So I got to know that over the years, Volga Naturals scaled up quite substantially, starting from relatively small, I think it was, 5 acres to over 5,000. I hope I got the numbers right. But tell us a little bit about that growth journey and some takeaways of reaching that scale from somewhere fairly small.
Actually, Volga Natural, we started in 2013 with 5-acre land. We converted our own 5-acre land into organic. Then we invite the surrounding farmers to join with us and contract with us to convert their land into organic. Now we are happy to say we are working more than 100 farmers scattered in the island. We have converted approximately 4,000 acres of land into organic. So we are, and in 2017 we started our own processing facility. Now we have 3 different production line. One is dehydration, and also we have canning and bottling line. Also we produce some powder product, especially fruit powders. So all those products for the export, 100% export market. And in factory, we have around 65 workers. So we are happy to say 90% of them are female workers. So we were able to give job opportunities in the people in the village. So now we are in very comfortable. So, yeah.
So Nishant, I find it quite striking that from day one you all aim to be organic, and you onboarded all these farmers and you convince them to go organic. Tell us a little bit about some of the challenges there, because convincing them, working with them to supply to you and become organic. Any interesting challenges you encountered during that time?
Challenges actually we got is the pandemic situation was a big challenge for us, because we cannot participate regular exhibitions, so we cannot find the market for our product. Because we have very good supply chain, we have very good raw material source. So we also have production facility we can produce. The market was the problem because of the pandemic situation. But after joining with this good GLX program, so we got a very good chance to select it, and they help us a lot to find our market and and also buyers from the horses.
And the response from the farmers to convert to organic, was that difficult to convince?
No,
or was it quite
actually,
easy?
country like Sri Lanka, a lot of our lands are organic by default. It is very easy to convert our lands into organic because of island. We have very less disease and pest issues compared to the other countries. So it is not a big issue. We are working, that's why we able to get 5 acre into the 5,000 lands into
In a
organic
short time.
within 5-year time.
Yeah, that's remarkable. So that was on scale, an element of speed, but on speed, Lahiru, I want to ask you about, from a target agriculture point of view. I got to know that in a very short period of time, you all are trying to add on a new product range, so spices. I think target agriculture didn't do spices before, and you're adding spices to your mix now, and I understand the speed is you're planning on adding this line, or have done this in a short period of time, like 5 months. Could you tell us a little bit about what that journey has been? I mean, spices isn't an entirely new segment, but for your business it was, but you've done it in a short period of time. Tell us about that.
Yeah, actually, Target Agriculture is an established company more than 25 years now. But this new spice segment, actually, very recently we launched it. And when we apply for this program, actually, it was something like a conceptual thing. But with the program, we developed that. We improved our production capacity. We then did hundreds of trials, and we did a lot of research. And after that, we produced these products. So it was really challenging for us, but we focus on our final goal, and now we can reach that.
Is it normal for your for Target Agriculture as a business to add on a new product line or new segment like that in such a short period of time, or was this a new experience for you?
This is actually new experience because Target Agriculture is somewhat, we can say, established or saturated company. We are exporting other products like fruits products, then coconut products for many years. But spices, it's really new, and we did it very well.
Very quickly. Yeah, I found it remarkable that maybe we can get back to this towards the end when we are talking about what the program has done, because it was, you added this line actually during the course of the program. Sophistication, the third S. First was scale, speed, and now sophistication. Serendipol and Gordon, not only is your factory sophisticated in terms of the fact that it's automated and you have so much technology deployed, state-of-the-art equipment, but also I felt, we tend to talk of sophistication sometimes only in terms of the mechanics, the hardware, the machinery, but I found sophisticated in your business model of, regenerative and, a fairer business model, fairer procurement of nuts from the market. I find that also sophisticated because it's easy to not do that. It's more sophisticated to actually have to do that. Tell us a little bit about that journey, also linked to something Lonali said about purpose. So if you can talk about those.
I reflect on our history. I believe the success of our endeavor has been that we walk the talk. We say what we do, and we do what we say. Example, we look after our supply chain from grower all the way down to customer. An example of what I am saying is, last year when COVID hit us, we continued to keep all our entire staff of 258 people working, or if there was no work, nevertheless we paid them their full salaries. We didn't make anyone redundant, and we still continue to keep them on the payroll. That, I believe, is a major incentive to everybody to understand that we really walk the talk of what we say. Likewise, when we started this business, it is traditional in this trade of the coconut industry, that the workers get a daily pay, get paid on a Saturday. Saturday they end up with buying their weekly rations, if at all. The rest of it they drink it up. Or the rest of the week they are drinking. When we started up with everybody, we insisted and opened a bank account for everybody. We even paid the first deposit for each employee at that time. Today, everybody's salary goes into that bank account. Every one of those guys, of our workers, villagers, have a bank account. They have an ATM card. And now they have a credit history, which helps them, if needed, to obtain a loan from a bank, which hitherto they could never do. And you have to understand the power that they feel when they know they have an ATM card and that there is money in it. And more than that, a lot of them I know, the wife has taken over the card. Good enough. But still, that is the kind of power that they have grown, getting out of having a bank account and being able to take a loan if needed. Beyond that, I like to say, every 2 years, we give a grant of 50,000 rupees to every one of our employees to upgrade their living condition. That is their house or their property, expand, build, renovate, add electricity, water, things like that. So like I said, our sophistication, not only in the equipment and machinery, is how we handle the people that we work with and our growth.
Absolutely. I'm going to stay with the two of you for a minute and turn to Sonali, putting you on the spot a bit. Before this, we were talking about differentiation, and I was asking you, how do you compete in this market? And you said it's the values of the business, and that is what you focus on first, because it's a dog-eat-dog world, and if you try to compete in this kind of at the heart of it, it is a commodity business, even though we're doing a lot of value addition, new products, and if you don't focus on that, the values, you kind of get lost in the crowd. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? What does this mean? It's not just a story, but you're living and breathing it, building on from what Gordon said. I think the mic is...
Hi.
Yeah.
I think what we are is a purpose-driven organization, right? The business is simply a conduit or a vehicle to positively impact lives. And everything that Gordon says is based on that. So we are not selling a product. We are selling our values, and we are looking for like-minded partnerships, and therefore we are very selective in the partners that we take on as well. When I say partnerships, I mean internally, externally, as well as the customer. So again, because we are a purpose-driven organization, our thinking is completely different. So our action is also different. We are not looking at the rupees and cents, but we are looking at where and how can we create a positive impact that will make a small change in another person's life. And that is where the difference lies.
So I just want to pick up, sorry to keep at it, I just want to dig a bit deeper into your point about being selective with your partners, and this obviously means your buyers as well. What's that conversation like? We are not a big player. We're Sri Lanka. I'm sure there are competitors out there. What's that conversation like when you're talking to a potential buyer you want to retain business or create a new relationship with, and you're almost trying to interview them to make sure there's resonance with your serendipitous ethos and theirs?
Basically, we share our values. And we get into a conversation and ask them, is this how you see the world? What is it that you're interested in? Are you interested in regenerative supply chains? Are you interested in integrity? Are you just trying to get all of this in the cheapest possible price? And if it's on price, we don't talk. Because then that ends the conversation from there. So are you looking for ethical source? Are you looking for a reliable source? Are you looking for a long-term partnership? Are you an organization that is out there doing changes beyond boundaries? Are you reducing your carbon footprint? Are you being regenerative in what you do, or are you just being very ad hoc in your this. So our relationships are almost 1.5, 2 years before we start doing this.
Got it. Okay, great. Dulara, I'm going to focus on another S, the story. And I think this is, I'm getting from you also when you're talking about the brand, you're really trying to craft a new story. And probably one of the newer ventures in this age-old game, I guess. So you're trying to craft a new story around this crop, around this product. Tell us a bit about that journey, some of the early experiences that you're seeing, and you know, what are the pitfalls you're looking out for along the way, because I'm sure the world is crowded with folks trying to tell a compelling story as well, and you're jumping into the fray.
Anushka, it's funny you say that. So I'm in this industry, the first millennial, first generation entrepreneur in the coconut manufacture and export industry. You know, if you take most of my friends or colleagues at my age, you know, they're interested in tech, they're interested in financial services. Yes, they like a bit of branding, marketing, but more on a buying, selling, trading front. So going into this, was very much doing something contrarian in an age-old game. But what I saw was really, so when I came across the factory that was closing down in the Sri Lankan Coconut Triangle, what the opportunity I saw was on the back of a demand tailwind that was for authentic coconut products, how we can build Sri Lanka's first tree-to-table brand. And the way we are going about it is really on 3 Ps, right? Which is provenance, process, and parity. So when we say provenance, one thing that I don't know a lot of viewers might know, so the Sri Lankan Coconut Triangle is known for having the best soil and climatic conditions for nutrient-rich coconut growing. So it's that triangle, so Thailand as a country has very high yield, but if you take that triangle, there's the highest yield in the world. So the provenance is very high. The second one is process. We follow a cold press technology. We source the freshest coconuts. We source from organic estates. So it's, everything about it is premium, it's process oriented, and down to the filtration and the packaging of the extra virgin coconut oil. The last one is parity. And this is something that not any global brand can take away from us, which is the fact that we know more than 91% of our selling value goes to the farming, processing, and other supplier community. The global brands in the coconut space have no idea what the farmers are getting. And that's the truth of it, right? So that opportunity to really scale the good, as GLX says, through Cocoa House is something I'm very excited about.
Fantastic. I'm sure there'll be questions from the audience to all of you, and please think of what you'd like to pose to our panelists today, and also fellow panelists, feel free to jump in if you have something to say on what another of our panelists said. Lonali, I'm going to turn to you. I got to know that part of what you've been trying to shift, so the S I'm using for you is shift. Part of what you've been trying to do is shift try and select product ranges and segments, and in order to be more competitive. So I don't know too much about that, and I'd like you to tell us more about this shift that you've been trying to make, and I think even through the GLX program, you've been pursuing that shift.
You've taken the exact word, shift. So I think GLX program, as well as what helped me, it was first shift. There's 4 shifts, and the first is we've been doing fashion, started off with fashion, but we've been doing a lot. We've been doing a lot of lifestyle products, accessories, homeware products. So upcycling has given us a whole lot of opportunity. Within these 3 months, we figured out that we're not just a fashion brand anymore. We're taking the shift towards the lifestyle. We've been creating that lifestyle throughout. We've been educating people. We've been building that cult. So I think the first shift is from a fashion brand to a lifestyle brand. Then comes to from a retail brand. I mean, we've been directly retailing to our customers, but we're now looking into sort of B2B angle, which we've started a few years back, but how we shift from this model to that model, which brings us more revenue and more scalability. Then the next third shift is from a linear model to a circular model. how we kind of designed a product for end use, but now we design a product, we look at a circularity, how we can get it back, how we can decompose it, or what material we use from the design, as a design brand, how do we incorporate circularity and give the consumer or the manufacturer or everybody a chance to be a part of a circular process. Finally, the last shift is obviously what is the future, and GLX have actually put all the other shift in place for this, which is going from a local brand to a global brand from Sri Lanka.
So I'm just going to stay with you on that last shift, Ronali. What's running through your head when you're thinking about this shift from being a domestic player to now exports? It's a tougher one, right?
Extremely tougher one.
What's going through your head when you're planning this?
So we've tried this few times and we failed as well. So I think this GLX program actually helped us to kind of put things in place which we missed out actually. Some of the certifications or processes, because we are a small brand, we don't know how to get those things. We don't have the access. So how do we kind of put things in place, especially impact measuring? A lot of things that need to be a global brand. Especially in the sustainable and the fashion sector. So I think this 3 months really helped me to kind of look back at our mistakes and kind of refine and actually work on the 3 shifts and then going global.
Fantastic. Before I move on to getting some questions from all of you, I have a question about traceability, linking to something that Dulara mentioned, I think, on provenance also. So, Lahiru, could you tell us a little bit about maybe not only for the spices, but the wider business at Target Agriculture, some of the things that you've done to get this traceability right, not just from a technical perspective, but also from getting your buyers and your consumers to know that you have a focus on traceability, and also are you partnering with tech companies to do it, or is it, have I got it all wrong? And in Target Agriculture, it's not really tech that makes the cut when you're doing traceability. Tell us about that.
Yeah, actually, traceability means anyway we have to be responsible for the products what we are exporting. So from farm gate to final consumer, we have to maintain the traceability. We have to, also we have to comply with the standards, especially when we are exporting to countries like EU. There are a lot of standards and we have to comply with these standards, and it's a part of this traceability, also part of this compliance process. At the same time, we can use this tool to show that we are doing the right thing. So we can convince the customers using this tool. So that's about it.
And in the traceability, are you seeing any, apart from the certifications and the testing and standards, are you also looking at technology, using more digital technologies for traceability?
Yeah, currently we are actually developing some app also, some digital platform to maintain our traceability, and which is really transparent to the customer also. Okay. So we use that technology also because as a new company, we have to, Target Spices as a new company, we have to adopt these new technologies and we have to convince our customers.
Are you developing that app in-house or are you partnering with?
No, actually we are partnering with some other companies, and also we have some program with GIZ. So with the support of GIZ, we are going to develop that.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to pause my barrage of curious questions and try and take a few from you, and maybe Shanali, let me know if we have any coming in online also. The floor is yours. I think I'll take a few questions together and then throw it to our panelists. So the time is yours. Just wave your hand and we'll try and get a mic over to you. Savera? Yes.
First of all, congratulations to everyone who's up there, really inspiring stories. I was just wondering, in terms of what GLX embodies as well, which is collaboration, And I think, Sonali, you mentioned how selective you are in your partnerships. And I was just wondering if any of the panelists or your businesses had examples, standout examples of where collaboration, because I feel like the traditional narrative usually for businesses is kind of this isolated business trying to win the best brand in a competitive environment. And we've seen that there's a power of community, there's a power of collaboration. And I was just wondering if you had any examples within your own businesses that have enabled you to kind of leapfrog because of these collaborations.
Okay. So I'll give our panelists a minute to think if any of you would like to come in on that. Hopefully, maybe Sonali, Tular, Lunali on collaborations. And I'll take a few more questions and come back to you. Yep, we have gentleman at the back.
Thank
you. Lady, and then we come to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, and also congratulations to everyone there at the front. It's very good to see you offline. I also have a question because many of you are stating you would like to export, right? Meanwhile, sustainability is at the core of your business case, which is very good. But for exporting, you also need to move your things. So how are you going to do the sustainability when you export? And the microphone stopped working. This I'm asking from a Netherlands embassy perspective, because this is something that we are also thinking about. We would like to support SMEs to also export, but then the sustainability question. Thank you.
So, ma'am, I have a follow-up. Do you mean mainly from a transport and logistics point of view, or is it? Yeah, okay, got it. So the question there was thinking about exports, where it's crossing borders, and it's not like software really, right? It's how do you embrace sustainability when you're thinking of that, when you're sending goods across borders from a logistics and transportation point of view? If any of you have thought about sustainability in that aspect of your business. So if anyone would like to come in, and I'll take one more question and we come to you. Yes.
Hi everyone, and congratulations. My question is specific for Lonali. I find your business model very intriguing, and especially in saying that it's circular. I've never seen it applied to the clothing industry. And how do the mechanics of it? Sorry, can you hear me right? Yeah. So how exactly do the mechanics of it work when it comes to retrieving the material back from the customer? And as you scale up, how feasible is that?
Great question. So shall we take it in reverse? Lonali, you could answer the question on the on that, and then we'll come to you on the other one.
So circularity can happen in there are few design techniques that circularity can happen. So you can actually start with the design process, which you look into the resources that can be recycled and bring it back to the circular form. And then also you can have the models, which are more rental models and reselling models, which keep your product in circulation. So I think your question was more about these models and how we scale up as a fashion brand. So locally, we've actually introduced the handing over part. So we have a box which is kept in our store so that we actually trying to collect our clothes. So we started off with our kids collection because mainly kids grow out fast, and they kind of keep on purchasing new clothes. So because of that, we started off with the kids ones. What we plan to do is we're first going to take that resources and see whether we can, it's already stitched garments, and probably 3 months, it was used for 3 months, so if we can resell it. So we partnered up with our retailer collaboration. We collaborated and we asked for a second-hand selling rack so that we can sell it again. The second option we have is donate, because it's a stitched garment. Even if it's not up to selling, can we actually donate to, there are hundreds of children without clothes, can we donate? The last option is we are known for upcycling, can we upcycle it into some other product? So we've kind of taken that challenge in that way.
But when you really scale it, I think technology plays a huge role in tracking. So we're actually trying to see, this is my dream probably, to make sure that this Lonali garment won't end up in landfill. If we can track it coming back to us, that will be my dream. So I think technology will have to play a huge role in that.
Great. On the question of sustainability in logistics and transport, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add some points about the sustainability questions. For example, I mean, we can adopt this sustainability concept in different stages. For example, if we take product, as a company, Target Agriculture, we export only organic products. So the product itself is sustainable because we are not allowing any farmers to apply any weedicides or any pesticide. So then we are preserving the nature. So that's one part. Then about the processing, like packaging, we are using some recyclable materials. Then if we talk about the logistics, especially we mainly export as sea freight. We are not using any air freight shipments, and in some standard like BioSwiss, when we are exporting to Switzerland, it's a mandatory thing. So like this, in different stages, we apply the sustainability concept, and we ensure that the pollution or the bad impact to the environment or people or whatever is minimized in this process, especially in the exports.
So extension from that is it, I mean, is it conceivably even possible to focus on sustainability in your transport and logistics, given that a lot of it may not be in your control, at least from the overseas point of view, but up to the border, are there things that you're thinking about or any ideas that have crossed your mind about trying to bridge that sustainability barrier, at least in the domestic supply chain from a transport and logistics point of view? Or is this too early for many of our businesses to think about? The business case isn't there. I don't know. Does anyone have any thoughts about that? Go ahead.
Transport, as for everybody here who are exporting, our transport is limited to what is available to us, either sea freight or air freight. But I believe that lady from the Netherlands was trying to understand if we as exporters are using sustainable products, preferably in the material that we pack it in or we fill it in, starting with the pallet. Is it a treated pallet according to whatever the standards of the country you're shipping it to? If it's a cardboard package, is it recyclable? Is it made out of recyclable material? Is it phthalate free? Those are requirements that the international world asks us. And before we buy from wherever, we get those certificates and we provide that to the customer for them to know we are using this, we are using this, we are using this. What you're getting is this. So I believe I think I have answered your question. We follow all those requirements. That is demanded by the customer, sophisticated or any customer, and we keep following the new trends when and ever it comes out.
Yeah, okay. So I think one important aspect of the logistics and transport, which is, you mentioned the packaging and all that, is we're already looking at that. Does anyone have anything to say on Savera's question around collaboration? I know, Lonali, you touched on that a little bit, how you're seeing collaboration in this space. Maybe I'll ask Sonali very quickly, because in your business model, there's collaboration because some of your byproducts, you actually work with other partners. So do you want to tell us about that from a collaboration point of view?
In the industry, we collaborate a lot. Basically, if our procurement department is continuously in touch with the local collectors and the intermediaries. They're continuously in touch with the other commercial hubs and the processing industry on price and all of that. Then when it comes to technical know-how, there is collaboration. There is know-how that is being exchanged. And if you want to put HTML client, you will ask a collaborative organization for their take or their experience in installing that plant.
And for example, we also do, and I think many of us do, subcontracting for each other, other export organizations or production. And there is collaboration in terms of technical know-how, QC, and that kind of a thing. If you want to know the latest trends in packaging or the prices of glass, there's enough and more collaboration that is happening in the industry. When it comes to byproducts, there's collaboration on developing entrepreneurship on the ground level and providing them with a constant source of raw materials, cutting out the intermediaries at a reasonable price. So there's a lot of collaboration.
So that's not only this is where products that you all are not making, but it's a raw material that, well, it's almost like a...
okay, we have a very aggressive recycling policy. So all of our byproducts and our waste products are given to entrepreneurs to add value.
And create new products.
And to create new products. Oh. And we are a constant source of raw material because we, how do I say, we procure about 20 million coconuts a year. So we're a constant source of raw material, a stable source of raw material at a stable price. And we endeavor, wherever possible, 90% of the time, to cut out the intermediaries so that the value-added processor gets the benefit of that.
Okay, excellent. Dulara, very quickly,
yeah,
minute.
Anushka, I just want to add something. So what's very interesting about coconuts is the entire coconut tree is very collaborative. It's called the tree of life for a reason. When you take a coconut, the husk is added value to make cocoa bean. Goes around the world as fertilizer. Then after that, there's a shell. The shell goes for activated carbon, right? And that's in most of our filters at home. Then you go into the next layer, which is called tester. That is, again, reprocessed to get oil. The kernel, the white kernel is used for cream, extra virgin coconut oil, the coconut flour, the coconut water, as you know, again. But then it goes a level deeper than that. The branches were historically used for building houses, the roofs of the houses. The roots were used for dye, making dyes. The coconut flour is used for nectar and coconut sugar. So it's really a tree that keeps on giving.
Are you seeing that collaboration? So that that tree of life idea and what it offers. Are you seeing that collaboration in terms of business models? I think we have one example here, but are you seeing that also with others, where a player that's using just one part of that tree of life is also collaborating with another to use different parts that they may not be using, right?
Absolutely. So I mean, there's no byproduct other than moisture that goes to waste, right? So our shell gets taken from Anguru players who then give it to activated carbon exporters. The virgin oil cake is made as flour and then re-exported. So there's really no byproduct other than moisture that goes to waste.
Okay, got it. I'm going to end. We have just a couple of minutes with a rapid fire round with a question to each of you that's more to the heart of the program. And I think many of you got different things from participating in the GLX program. But I want to ask you one thing. What's the one, if you had to point to one main contribution that the program made to you, your business, your outlook on the sector, whatever it is? If I had to ask you what the one thing was, very quickly, Dulara, and we'll go in that order.
Sure. So yeah, GLX was a phenomenal program. Since Anushka only wants me to talk about one, I will talk about one of them. So before I joined the program, I thought we were quite good in the digital landscape. But boy, was I wrong, right? The experts, they started with the diagnostics, and not only that, they also shared the tools that we should use to improve all our touch points. And in the 3 to 4 months, right? In the 3 to 4 months we had this program, we actually launched a new website. And if you search now from anywhere in the world for virgin coconut oil exporters, coconut flour, coconut sugars, we're in top 3.
Okay.
Globally. So that's something we've had, but something we've added on.
So it's the digital piece, even when you thought you had done it. I'm going to switch things around. I'll come to Nishanta, and then I'll go to Nishanta. What's the one main contribution you got away from the program?
Actually, my background is agriculture and food science. I know how to cultivate and I know how to process. But my knowledge was zero about the branding. So they came up with a lot of experts. They are really experts. And now they help me to develop our brand.
Okay.
We are very happy with that.
So it's the branding piece there. Lonali.
It's simply good life. Good life for my makers, how to really create that good life for my makers, as well as how to create a good life for the wearer, which includes all the branding to everything. So I think it's the good life, including as for an entrepreneur, it helped me to create that good life.
Okay, good. Maybe like you?
Yeah, for a startup like Target Spices, actually, I need many guidance on different expertise, from even from the product design, then the labels, even up to the strategic direction where we are going now for 10 years. So I'm really grateful for those expertise who help us. Even I can remember the Aj who help us, and Naveen, all the guys. So from the entire business developed thanks to this program.
Great, and I'm going to ask Sonali and Gordon to split your time and either one or two takeaways.
For me, it was absolute clarity.
Okay, Gordon?
For me, it was an eye-opener.
Okay, great, and that's fantastic to hear from. And we had an interesting mix in this panel of folks who have had, run this business in a sector for many, many years, already having a powerful story, already having so much commitment to sustainability, but still getting something out of a program like this, to other newer players who have newer players or existing players going into newer segments. So I think it's very clear to all of us what has been achieved in this program and what these businesses are going to go on to achieve. And thank you very much for your participation, and great to be part of GLX. So over to you, Shanali. Thanks, everyone. Thank you to all of you.
Thanks, Anushka, and thanks to these amazing SMEs for being here today. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard a lot about the experts that were part of the program. And today we have a session that has been pre-recorded because they are joining us from 3 different time zones. Now, connecting them across 3 different time zones wasn't the only challenge. Making sure they don't confuse the tongue-twisting names of both the participants of the program as well as the program team themselves has really been challenging for these guys. I personally have had a few identity crises amidst that. But next up, we have this special session where you get a little intimate with the experts. And ladies and gentlemen, canapes will be served during this session, so get comfortable and enjoy it.
Hi everyone, my name is Neo, and it's my pleasure to introduce everyone to the amazing experts we had during this program. Just some quick context before we get into it. Basically, we had 50+ companies that were screened for this program, and we chose 5 of them to participate on the basis of them having exceptional potential, very strong social values, and of course, we needed to be able to help those companies as well. We went through an intensive due diligence process with the companies to understand what their strengths were and how we could help them, and obviously their opportunities to grow, right? Following that, we structured the program, but crucially, we identified who the best experts from around the world were to be able to support these companies in these ways that we'd identified, right? So in doing so, we have an incredible set of international experts that we got access to, right? And who agreed to be part of this program. And we put them into an environment and set up a process for them to engage in an autonomous and intensive way with core principles we had, such as deep collaboration, information sharing, and having a relentless outcomes-first approach in terms of helping the SMEs, right? We are very proud of the outcomes that we've achieved for the companies. They improved their abilities significantly in areas that the experts brought to the table, such as business strategy and growth, understanding digital, branding, knowing their product better, and of course, accessing consumers and entering markets in a more effective way. Needless to say, the primary reason for this improvement was firstly the quality of the experts we had, and secondly, in the amazing way that they engaged and added value during the program. On that note, I would love to introduce the experts to you by basically going through each one. And for each of these experts, They will introduce themselves very briefly. They will also identify and express what their superpower is and some key takeaways and learnings they got out of the program. Great. Without further ado, let's start with Arj.
Hey Neo, my name is Arj, and I've been a strategy consultant for 25 years, helping companies to develop and refine their growth roadmaps and their investment strategies. My superpower is the ability to inject clarity into a client story and really to help them re-articulate it in a more effective manner. And the highlight of the GLX program for me was really the opportunity to intensely interact with all these company founders, these experts who are here with us, all of whom had a real strong set of values anchored on making the world a better place.
Fantastic. Thank you, Arj. And next up, Hugo.
Yeah, my name is Hugo from the Netherlands. I lived my whole life in the agriculture sector. I grew up on a farm. I worked on agriculture research, and the last 5-6 years I assist companies with exports of agricultural produce. And my superpower is, I think, seeing opportunities always everywhere. That drives me. And the key highlight of the program was, of course, working with the entrepreneurs, helping one of them closing a deal, and especially making those introductions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Hugo. And next we've got Jose.
Hi, my name is Jose Koopman. I help companies to set up production and collection in textiles in a sustainable and profitable way, and I help them finding the right customers. My superpower is I see solutions to every problem. And the highlight of the program was working together with such a motivated team and achieving results in a very short time.
Thank you, Jose. Next up, Frank.
Hi, my name is Frank. I'm from Germany. I help organizations design human-centered value propositions and ultimately build strong brands. My superpower is empathy. It helps me to understand complex problems, humans, brands, and from there I get a lot of inspiration to create new value. My highlight in the GLX Garage program was, of course, the fantastic collaboration we had with the SMEs and among the experts, and the fantastic trust we get from all people involved here. And of course, it was great to see what we can achieve in such a short time, and hopefully the positive impact we created together in this fantastic collaboration.
Thank you, Frank. Naveen?
Hi guys, I'm Naveen Marasinghe, and I've been a digital marketer for those 14 years, helping small to large scale brands to achieve their business objectives through digital marketing. I would say my superpower is probably concentrated on digital strategy, and the highlight for me in the program was that I had the valuable opportunity to interact with an amazing set of experts and an amazing set of SMEs where I was able to share my knowledge and also to learn from them.
Thank you, Naveen. And last but not least, Casper.
Hi, Neo. Thank you for having me. I'm Casper, and I'm originally from Denmark, but have been living in Asia for the last couple of years. And I have been living off my own company since I graduated high school, which has been an amazing journey for me. And it's something that brought me along the lines into the tech industry almost a decade ago, where I have been involved in several good exits, which of course has been extremely valuable, and also that has taught me a lot in this space. My superpower is really that, of course, nobody knows anything, or nobody knows everything. So, and my superpower is really to pick up on the things that I don't know and jump into a topic and really be a Swiss Army knife of the internet. The highlight for me of the GLX program was really like the long list of tangible outcomes that we have together as a group.
I'm going to ask each of the experts a particular question that's related to their expertise and their superpower. Okay, and this will be very valuable to see their insights on these particular questions. And first up question is to Arj, right? How important, Arj, is company purpose? And what can you tell us about how this played out in the program to do with the SMEs?
Yeah, Neo, company purpose, I think, is absolutely central to developing strategy, right? Rely on these traditional notions of vision, mission, those are very top-down, inside-out approaches, which were almost very selfish, right? They said, we want to be the most admired company, things like that, that really don't resonate with your employees and your customers. Articulating a corporate purpose means that the company sees itself as a platform to do good and to make the world a better place in some way. And for employees, this means it's much more than a job and a paycheck, right? And then also for your consumers who are now far more conscious about their behavior and approach towards the planet, and they want to interact with brands that share these values. So, when you articulate a company purpose, it's really an authentic way to align all of these stakeholders. And, within the GLX program, we had 5 really fabulous companies who were operating with really strong values and purpose, but they hadn't spent a lot of time articulating clearly what that purpose was to their stakeholders. So I think this was a real great opportunity through the program to enable that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Arj. And Hugo, next question is for you. What do companies in Sri Lanka need to think about, Hugo, when considering entering markets such as Europe?
Yeah, the key topic in the food sector is, of course, food safety. That's the key thing to control and to take into account. But of course, that goes then together with looking at trends like health, sustainability, and social responsible value chains, and bring these ones all together. I think that is something that helps you really to enter the European market.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Hugo. And Jose, what role can Sri Lanka and Sri Lankan companies play in the global sustainability movement?
I think there is a huge opportunity for Sri Lanka to become the front runner in sustainability. I have seen in the program that companies are already moving from doing business in a traditional way to a more circular way. I've seen companies that are upcycling products and designing out waste, and that's not only in the textiles, but also in the other sectors. And if Sri Lanka is really taking the next step and invest in circular technologies, such as having like post-consumer waste and transfer it into new yarns, then Sri Lanka can be really the front runner in sustainability.
And next up, Frank. What can companies in a more traditional segment do to differentiate in how they appeal to the modern, sophisticated consumer?
I think if you're referring to a traditional industry or segment and you're maybe referring to agriculture or food, I think food or agriculture is hotter than ever as a topic for an industry. You are what you eat, and we see a young generation really approaching in a totally different way to food. They want to know where their food comes from. And there are a lot of brands, new brands being developed at the moment. And I see a lot of potential, the SMEs who we're working for, to really participate in that movement. But overall, it's really important for them to understand whom they want to be a relationship with. So, because branding is about building a relationship, so it's crucial that they really understand whom they want to relate to. And this is very much based on values, of course. And we see that all the SMEs are in the organic area. Still, you have to differentiate here and find your sweet spot, what makes you special. But then it's really about connecting to these audiences and build a unique brand. And I believe this is not, this does not depend on how old your industry basically is. And you can just combine it with the latest technology, like Kasper is talking about that. Use that technology to access your audience here.
What guidance would you give for traditional companies looking to become more digitally enabled?
Yeah, so Neo, I think I would first, the best advice I could give for a traditional company is that not to be intimidated by new technology or digital trends. This is as much as simple as it is. And the second thing is not to be too comfortable with where you are, because eventually there's a lot you can gain from being brave and getting out there and getting yourself involved in digital. And few key things you can start off is that you need to first evaluate your channel or your ecosystem. So have a better understanding where you stand from a digital point of view, what is your visibility, things like that. And then start from where you can and where you can easily start things off. Like, you know, there are easy things that you can do, like building your profile on social media, having a website. So start with the basics, and from there start on building on top of it. And the faster you get into it, the more you will start to have questions, and the more questions you have, the more learnings you will do and adopt.
Fantastic. Great insights there. Thank you, Naveen. Last but not least, Casper. We're seeing a trend where technology startups for a while have been growing their dominance and rapidly growing their dominance, right, in various industries. Why is this so? And what can more conventional SMEs do to stay relevant given this trend?
It's a really good question. I see it not so much as non-tech companies as opposed to tech companies or technology startups. I see it more as the borders between the two are being erased rather slowly, but the speed of which those borders are being erased is growing exponentially over time. And if you're sitting with a company, being a CEO of a company in, let's say, in agriculture, in a traditionally non-tech space, then I typically see digital transformation and digital adoption a little as like going to the gym. It's never too late to start, and you can benefit from doing it even once a month. And if you really want to ramp up your game and get into shape, you can do it 3 times a week, 4 times a week. But if you think that digital or tech or the internet is not coming for you, then think again, because it is here now, and in 10 years, it might be too late, and you might have been overrun by new competitors that was simply better or more agile at adopting tech into this space in a timely manner. So think a little bit more about how you can help clients with new information, make information available, or make good solutions that they can use with tech too.
Next up, guys, we're going to have a little bit of fun. All right, we're calling this the rapid fire round, and very much like a game show in our own style. Basically, what will happen is I will ask a series of rapid fire questions, and please have your paddle ready, right, to answer the question, and raise the paddle to cover your face. The first one to do so, make sure you cover your face, otherwise I can't see it. Okay, and the first to do so, I will call upon you to answer the question. And I strongly advise you only try to answer questions that you know the answer correctly. Everyone ready? Paddles up if you're ready. Okay, great. Good stuff, guys. Okay, and you have 10 seconds to answer each question. Okay, first question is, how many SMEs were in the program? That was Hugo.
5.
Correct. Question 2, what is the capital of Sri Lanka? Arj.
Sri Jawadanapura Kotte.
Well done. I was hoping a non-Sri Lankan was going to try that, but well done. Next question. Name one of the fantastic product lines of House of Lonali.
Oh.
Frank.
Resort wear.
Fantastic. That's good. Very specific, but great. Okay. Because of his incredible attention to detail and quality, which SME founder has often been referred to as like a German engineer? Frank.
That's Nishanta.
Absolutely right. Okay. What is the name of the really hot coconut brand from Ceylon Exports? Frank.
That's Cocoa House.
Fantastic. Frank's on a roll here, guys. Repeat these names in the order that I say it. Sonali, Shanali, Lonali. Arj.
Sonali, Shanali, Lonali.
Well done. Correct.
I'm happy you did that one.
What do you call a person from Somalia? Frank.
The Somali.
Somali, correct. Name the profession of someone who is trained and knowledgeable of all aspects of wine. Casper.
Sommelier.
Sommelier, correct. Repeat these in alphabetical order. Okay, so we're getting a little bit trickier now. Coconut, banana blossom, organic, fair trade. Jose.
Banana blossom, coconut, fair trade, organic something.
Well done. Well done. Yes, well done. Good stuff.
Difficult.
Thank you. Repeat these in alphabetical order as well. Shanali, Sonali, Shonali, Sommelier, and Somali.
Not gonna start.
Hugo.
Shanali?
3, 1.
Marian? I lost it already.
Incorrect.
No, I can't. Sorry.
Next question. Name any two target export markets for any of the SMEs. So target country export markets. Ooh, I think that was Jose.
Europe and Australia. 4.
Okay, we can go with that. A bit broad, but that's fine. You
wanted it more specific.
Specific would have been good, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, this is a truly international program, guys. Name all the countries where the GLX team and experts are based. Frank.
Netherlands, Germany, Hong Kong, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Singapore. I think that's it. One missing.
You gave a bonus answer, Singapore. But you're otherwise right. So I think you get that right. Right? How many De Silvas are there in the program and who are they? Hugo.
2. Dulara. No, sorry, the Alvis. The Silva, sorry. No, I sorry.
Okay, Frank, do you want to have a go?
I think it's 2, right? And Shenali and Randula, correct?
2 out of 3, so incorrect. There's also Gordon.
Oh!
And neither are related as far as I understand. Okay, guys, 2 more questions and then we're on to the next round, okay? Wagga has 52 full-time staff at the start of the program. How many are female out of those? Arj.
48.
Oh, amazing, so close, 47. But we've got to give you that answer. Incredibly, 47 of their staff are female. And last question, And there's only one right answer to this. Who is name a Sri Lankan that is a better storyteller than Morgan Freeman? Arj.
Gordon Silva.
Gordon De Silva is the correct answer. Coming back from admin that there is a tie. So we need one more question. Okay, we need one more question here. And let's go with, okay, name the expert that looked like one of the Beatles throughout the program because he couldn't get a haircut due to COVID restrictions. Frank.
That was Bertjan, right?
It was Bertjan, correct. And Frank is the winner.
So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that session with our experts joining us from all over the world. Today we're joining hands with some very special partners who are doing things differently to make a difference. So first up, we're partnering with Carbon Planter to gift each and every one of our invitees here today a tree of your very own. So you might have noticed there's a QR code on some of the tables around here. All you have to do is scan the QR code and claim your tree. I'm told that an average Sri Lankan has a carbon footprint of around 798 kilos per year. So this is helping you offset that. Secondly, we're also partnering with Thuru, a social innovation platform with ambitions of growing 2 million trees in Sri Lanka. The Thuru website has many variants of plants and seeds for you to purchase, and the best thing is that they deliver right to your doorstep. So tonight you will also be taking home a seed pod courtesy of Thuru to start your home garden or expand on your existing home garden. Beyond that, we also have House of Lonali, who we partnered with to give you a utility pouch made from upcycled material. So now as the formalities are drawing to a close, I'd like to make note of a special thank yous, especially to our partners who've been with us throughout this past 2 years and really helped us scale the good. Firstly, to our implementation partner for 2020, GIZ. A special thank you to the country director of GIZ Sri Lanka, Christine Einfeld, and head of the SME sector development program, Ranmali Gamage. Our facilitation partner, Noah Foundation. Our ecosystem partner, Hatch, for doing the amazing job that they did today in helping us put up this event. Our media partner, Row Media. Our communications partner, Engage. Also, a special thank you to our online partners who helped cross-stream this event and all of you who joined virtually. A heartfelt thank also goes out to my energetic and amazing colleagues at GLX. Special thanks also to the SME founders who joined us this evening and the experts. And a thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking time off your busy schedules to join us today. The night is not over yet. The fun and revelry begin right after. The bar will be open very shortly as you enjoy the specially curated cocktails by Sozo this evening. Sozo has been part of our very first Accelerate program in 2019. So enjoy, stay safe, and have a great evening. Thank you.